I'm sure many of you know, my name is Ted Helms. I'm the Executive Director of the Brazilian American Chamber of Commerce. Sometimes people ask, well, what was the genesis of this event? How did it get going? Well, we try at least twice a year to a social networking event, once generally for Carnival and now once in the middle of summer. We're very fortunate that the owner of Pride Global, the founder, Leo Russell, is a Brazilian and is kind enough, is a member, and he's always kind enough to at least once a year open up this great space.
The idea behind this conversation tonight is trends in fashion and the influence of technology as well as social change that's going on so rapidly in our cultures around the world. But particularly tonight it's about what's going on in the US and Brazil and the trends that are happening. So the first question I want to present to everybody here, the four of you, is the impact of the changing economy of where people are buying a lot more online versus going to stores.
Yeah, from our perspective, from Farm Rio perspective, of course there is no way to deny this challenge of bringing the consumer to the location, to the store. Of course, e-com is growing faster and faster and changing everything we plan. But in another hand, there's some kind of experience you can only deliver being present. And as Farm Rio is very connected to experience itself too, and we are really focused on making the experience of our store being something that's so amazing that you can only have there. For a period of time, we were like, oh, we think our store are gonna die in the end. And now what we feel is that it's not that it's dying. What is happening is that it's changing what is the motivation to go to a store. The person could buy it online, but maybe you have to connect the whole experience. So like maybe you can buy in the store, drop it at the house, or buy online, pick up in the store. And maybe it's very, very important to deliver something that the person will never have online. For example, our store in Soho, which is our like international flagship now, we created a whole atmosphere inside. There's even like sand from the beach, and there's like you really experience the brand there. And from my area, which is like to make the awareness of the brand and the values of the brand come to the customers. Once the person has experienced that, they never forget and they come back to that store. But it's always gonna be harder and harder every time to get people there. But still, I personally believe that a very strong brand still needs to be physical somewhere. I don't like, from my thought of branding, you have to have an experience still. As I said before, I totally understand that it's changing, but I still think there's a space for brands to create physical experiences.
So the sort of the interesting conversation that's going on here is the consumer, the person who's going to buy the stuff, right? And I don't know about you, but it seems like everybody's changing like every other week. There's a new chain, there's a new concern, there's a new awareness about culture, and particularly like right here at the chamber, it's cross-pollination between two very different types of culture. So my question is, how do you build your brand so that there's a relationship, a meaningful relationship with your customer?
Just to complement, as an event that you need to connect a lot of the different trends and companies, customization, and the reason why behind of this behavior of the customer is something that we always have in our panel, but not because us, but because of the trends that the fashion is moving. So customization, personalization, and reason why behind the brand.
And I think we chatted about this also, is the impact of the environment I mean, it's the big elephant in the room, right? Everybody knows about it. What do we do about it? So, how's fashion dealing with that in terms of this? Because we all know that historically there's a lot of waste in fashion. And not only that, but there's also a lot of materials changing, in fact, demand.
So this is a great question. Like, fashion is one of the most polluting industries, as everybody knows, and it's like a $3.2 trillion industry. So what we are doing now, Netkoolr is looking for new renewable materials that we can add value and bring more experience to our customers. So we are aiming to be fully sustainable by 2021. I mean, materials wise, we already found a renewable material that we're going to be implemented in our bags. And also about the sustainability, we can include the social responsibility as well, because in factories you have, as Gil commented, we have a lot of waste. And one of the great things of our factory, since we have a micro factory in Brazil and we can manage all the production, we have a program that we created to reduce the waste of the materials. So pretty much everything that we can reuse is in our bag. So we have about 10% of waste at now, and in 2 years we want to have like as little as like 2%.
So what you're doing in farm now, you're attacking in 3 ways. We have a program called Refarm, which is about using the wasted material to make new clothes. So there's a huge waste, and you're not using all this waste, but you have started to find a way to bring it back. And there's another thing we're doing is like to implement partners with circular economy, which are like the vintage stores online. Now we're connecting them to our brand, and then we are collecting clothes, and you give people discounts, and then you give these clothes to these partners, and they reintroduce this on the chain for the customers. And as we need to do other things faster than that, here in the US, we came with a program to plant 1 tree to every purchase. So all the time, every purchase, even online or either online or on the store, all of them you have 1 tree planted. We are still planting all of them in Amazon. It's going to be like that for the first 2 years. We have the expectation of planting 100,000 trees in 2 years, and after that we're going to start to plant other places and do some special actions around US and other endangered environments.
For me, my aha moment was really understanding the connection that I had with my clients. In the beginning, I thought I wanted to, run my business just like any other fashion brand. You do fashion week, you sell in stores, you go to trade shows, you hire a PR company. And as a small independent brand, that was so hard, almost impossible for me, because fashion is a very crazy industry. It takes a lot of investment. You don't see the return. And I kept kind of like trying for, I would say, almost 3 years to go the cookie cutter way. And I finally realized, no, this is not how it's going to work for me. How can I make this work? And realizing that direct consumer, not selling in stores anymore, having my own showroom where I interact with my customers, really going heavy on social media, which is where 90% of my customers are. So the power of social media also is something great that I embraced, and that was definitely my aha moment, realizing that you don't have to run your business, your fashion company, just like everyone else. You can be creative and resourceful.
So what do we have? We have, okay, this is generously donated by Netkoolr, by Maby, and her sister, Maby too. Right?
The Mabys.
The Mabys, okay.
My dad was very creative.
Wow. So what do we got here? Wow, we've got, it's exciting. Should we model? Can we open one? See what there is? Ah, okay.
Oh, here, actually, this is the new collection that we're launching.
Okay, look at that. Okay, so we're going to be drawing business cards. Everybody got their business card in? Gonna do this, carry it to lunch. Okay. And the winner is, first one, what do we got? Okay, let's see. First one is, Bidi Smile. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. In the front row. Now that's, ooh, that's nice. Okay. Next, here, I'll keep this for, yeah, okay. Next we have here, NYU, Victor. Wow. Wow, you guys are really generous, all these. Okay, another Aries Sulian from UBS. There we go, okay, excellent, okay. There's those UBS guys, I don't know if they carry lunch to work, but we can, even bankers got to start that, okay, yeah. God, even bankers got to do that, okay. NYC Navigator, okay, Fadima Celia, okay, there we go, okay. There's another one now that's on NYC Navigator. She'll be going around. She'll be good for you because she'll be carrying it everywhere, all through New York, right? Navigating. Congratulations. Wow. Okay. Well, that was very generous, and that's one of my favorite things to do is to announce prizes. Okay. So that was great fun. So thank you really for our panelists. If you were paying attention, we learned a lot. Now I have been told that we have a hard stop at 8. So. Anyway, please enjoy, circulate around. I suggest you go out on the patios, it's great. You can't beat the view of the Chrysler Building. Grab some food. So anyway, enjoy and thank you so much for coming. That was great.